Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fallout Wasteland Warfare battle report. I don't know if battle report is really the right term for these because it's AI battles, but either way, we are doing the next AI scenario from the booklet, which is Cut Off the Head. We're going to do a little bit of a narrative twist to it in terms of the AI force that is going up against my poor survivors that just can't catch a break. First of all, they get locked out of a vault by super mutants, then they get their butts kicked by a madman who can control creatures. Now they've retreated with their tail between their legs, they are wounded. The goal of the AI is to kill my leader, which is the sole survivor, outside of his Exo 1 power armor this time, because he doesn't deserve it, quite frankly. So he is the target, and a robot force is coming after them. Now, usually to run the robots as a faction, you have to have a human with a robot controller, similarly to if you want to have a creature faction. You have to have a human with a creature controller, like last time. Just to keep this kind of fluffy, we're going to say that someone has sent these robots on a kill order and they are not currently here. That's also to bring the points down on the robots, because robots are expensive if you don't use the battered versions of them. So, you need to pick up some more survivors. So anyway, we're going to play that. I'll go over what's on the table in a second if you've already spotted it. But let's cover the teams first, and then we'll go over the additional extras. So because my poor survivors could use all the help they can get, they brought in some ringers. Aspirant Goddard has returned to repay the favour for finding his journal, even though he can't really hit very well. And he's brought with him a potentially crazy vigilante, Nuka Girl, who is armed with a thirst zapper and some Nuka Cherry. She is a living mascot of the Nuka-Cola Corporation. I think she's just an insane person, but who knows. The sole survivor is equipped with a 10mm pistol and a pipe wrench. He is not heroic, he is not a leader, he does not deserve it. Then we have Dogmeat Scout with Dogbite. Aspirant Goddard's obviously got his T60 power armor, got a laser pistol and a plank of wood. We have Free Tech. He's in Slave Tech, but because he's not on Super Mutants, he is a Free Tech with a combat shotgun and a stim pack. Then two settlers, as they were equipped last time, combat rifle and baseball bats. Now you might also have seen that there is two machine gun turrets set up on the field. They are set up by the survivors to help defend them, and also to make the points a bit more even at roughly, I think it was 750, I've forgotten now, but either way they're roughly the same with those turrets thrown in. The rolls for the turrets are available for free on the Modiphius website for these basic machine gun ones. Just for reference, this is from the Institute Wave. I think there's a heavy laser turret stat card. It's essentially the same. They all have 5 hit skill, 5 HP. They start with 3 Overwatch tokens, for lack of a, I can't remember the proper game term because I never use them. Prepared tokens, that's what they are. So they have a threat range, which is blue. Any enemy that is within blue, they react to. So say one of the robots moves into blue range, they'll take a shot. They move again, they'll take a shot, and they can do up to 3 per turn. And their stats are different from the stats listed here on the laser turret, but still. Their defense is 3 physical, 2 energy, they don't take damage from radiation. So they're there to help support the survivors because they are outgunned. And the kill squad of robots that have come to kill the sole survivor based on some order they've received from somebody. We have 2 Assaultrons. They are both equipped with Assaultron Swipe and Assaultron Head Laser, which needs to be primed. It's that big death ray they charge up in the games. So after each action except shooting, so in other words like moving, charging, attacking in close combat, anything that is not shooting, you add a token to the primed weapon if they can see a non-friendly person in line of sight. Otherwise they remove a token. When primed you immediately shoot, no action required, then remove all tokens. So they charge up the death rate is very, very damaging as well. 3 base plus some extra black die for potentially more damage. Then we have 2 bog standard Protectrons. They each have just Protectron hand lasers. And then it's a Codsworth card, because I don't have the card for a normal Mr. Handy. The difference is his skill is 1 lower and his HP is 1 lower. And he's got the Mr. Handy Buzzsaw and the Mr. Handy Flamer. Sorry, as a quick correction, the normal machine gun turrets we're using aren't heavy lasers. They're skill 4, not skill 5. Still 5 HP, still 2 base damage. They are green threat range, green with yellow on short range. That's what the stats are for the bog standard turrets that we're using. Alright, so I've set up my survivors and the AI, and also just thrown down some extra items to maybe try and encourage actually leaving the safety of this thrown together defensive area they've got here. But Nuka Girl's there, we've got the Free Tech next to one of the turrets, Goddard is there, Sole Survivor at the back with Dogmeat, 1 settler, some items there as well. And then in a line, only allowed up to 2, the orange marker, Protectron, Assaultron, Mr. Handy, Assaultron, Protectron. And actually going to roll off. Just going to roll a dice. 1 to 3 is going to be the AI going first. 4 to 6 is going to be the survivors. It is the survivors going first as we go into battle round 1. So to get us started, Aspirant Goddard activated. He couldn't get in range with just one move to shoot anything, so he just moved up once and then basically just stood there. We know from previous events in this game that Aspirant Goddard is really bad at shooting. He is, however, tanky in his T60 power armor, so he's deliberately put himself in the open there so that he is the tastiest target for the AI to go after, to buy everyone else, in theory, time to shoot them to bits. So the first action for the AI was one of the Protectrons, and they have a special trait in their AI where if they have yet to be shot at and don't roll a nuke, they actually just wander around randomly. So I had that scatter dice that you've seen before, rolled that to decide. His first action was to go like roughly there, out of range of the turret. His second was to kind of go there. So he's moved twice, but until he gets shot at, he's just kind of, you know, it's like in the games, they kind of wander aimlessly, even if they do have a purpose of defending or attacking. They have to get aggravated first. I don't think the Assaultrons are just pure, literally they only have one tree and it's just attack, attack, attack. They will just go after whoever. The Mr. Handy, not sure, but either way, the Protectron wandered about, back over to the survivors. The free tech is going to be my next activation, and he's going to use his combat shotgun on the Protectron that has not moved yet, that is out of safety. Can easily see over this because he's on an elevated terrain. However, because it's long range, absolutely no bonuses on the combat shotgun, so it's purely a skill roll, which is unfortunately just 3. First shot, he actually got it with a quick action. So the shotgun is just base 2 damage. What's a Protectron's armor like? They have really good physical defense. They have 4 potential armor. He blocked 2 of it, so it did no damage. Second shot. That is a 9. So that is just a straight up miss. I had no idea Protectrons had such good armor. They're slightly weaker to energy. Assaultrons, they've got some strong armor, but they're weaker. Okay. Well, he tried, and that Protectron has now been shot at, so he will not use the wandering aimlessly if it's him who activates next, although it's random. The AI has activated the Mr. Handy next, and he just wants to attack, so he moved forwards close enough to get into range with his Mr. Handy Flamer, which he is now using on poor Aspirant Goddard, but hopefully he's going to be fine. So his skill is less than the Codsworth card that we're using, so it's skill 5 with a blue dice thrown in for potential burning. Skill 5, he got exactly what he needed. The star on the Flamer does nothing, so that's fine, but he does need to defend against 2 burning damage, 2 physical damage. Aspirant Goddard's physical defense is 3 plus 1. That's 2 plus 1, so it did no damage, and the fire also did not get through. Back over to my survivors. Nuka Girl activated, and she moved up to where you can see her there, and now she's going to take a pot shot with her Thirst Quencher, her Thirst Blaster, whatever it's called, on the Mr. Handy there. So that is her skill die plus a black and a green. It only has green range, which she's barely inside, and her skill with it is very high, it's 7. And she can use luck despite not being heroic, but she won't need to, because that is a guaranteed 1 with a crit. I don't think, because I don't think she gets the crit. Oh wait, no, she totally does, it's on her card. Alright, so that's plus 1 crit marker, which I think I can... no, I don't have any crit markers handy. I'm going to have to look those out. I thought I wouldn't need them because of not having anyone who's heroic. Also, 2 bonus damage, so that is 4 damage coming in on the Mr. Handy, who has 3 physical defense. It is physical, right? Yeah. He blocked 2 of it, so essentially he blocked the bonus damage. The base damage of 2 goes through against Mr. Handy. Also, I will get the crit markers, because that does mean eventually she's going to be able to do that crit. It becomes a little burst explosion with an extra yellow die thrown in. Oh, a quick addendum of something that's been getting done slightly wrong in these battle reports so far. The survivor bonus of having these plus 1 super armors or plus 2 for named characters, those get reduced even if you don't take any damage as long as you're shot at. So Aspirant Goddard has lost 1 there. That's not been getting done right, but it is now. Anyway, back over to the AI's next activation. So this is going to be a bit of a messy turn. One of the Assaultrons activated and they just want to go murder. So it's moved up to get close. That means it's primed 1 because it can see the turret, but it's also in the turret's AoE. So the turret is going to immediately react to this movement and shoot at it. It was just a yellow die. It was skill 4. It succeeded, didn't need the -1. So that's 2 physical damage coming in against the Assaultron, who has 2+1. 1+1, blocked all the damage. But then it's still not in range to attack because it's only got the swipe. So it's going to move again, and it just got shot at as I knocked part of the scenery away. So it's going to go there. Actually, it could charge. Yeah, let's say it charged, because a charge would be enough to get into combat with the turret. Not to attack. And that's another react, which presumably can get used up. Now, I'm not sure if reacts happen before charge. Well, no, it doesn't have an action left. But it is going to fire its head beam because it's been primed, because that's the second priming action. Let's see if the turret shoots, because it's probably not going to do anything. 5, it needed a 4, it did nothing. So the laser is primed, but presumably now because it's in close combat it would be -2 to the skill. It's really nasty though, so it's 2 yellow, 1 black, and it would be perception 8. But again, because it charged in, I believe that would mean the minus applies, so it would be 6. Doesn't matter, because it was a crit. Cola bottle does anything? No. 3 energy damage against the turret, who has 2 energy armor. Blocked 1 of it, so that is 2 damage to the turret. It has 3 HP left. Good old faithful Dogmeat with his nerfed stats as per errata has activated. Moved up to there, then initiated a charge into the Assaultron to help out the turret for some reason. So he didn't have any actions left to attack this turn, but he is in combat. He's got his super armor still, and now it's over to either the other Protectron or the other Assaultron. So the Protectron, who has been shot at, activated, so he's not using the pace around randomly. He's using the wants to attack. So he moved up. He's going to shoot his hand laser at Aspirant Goddard. So that's a black, green, and that is not the skill die. That would be the armor die. There it is. His skill though is super low, despite him not being a battered Protectron. His skill is 3. So got to beat 3. That would be an instant fail on an X. So that is irrelevant. Would have done an extra bit of damage. So that Protectron has whiffed. Over to my survivors. This survivor down here is going to activate and shoot from where she is through, there's a window there. Shoot at the Mr. Handy there. Now he's not within 2 of the scenery that is slightly blocking the line of sight to him, so I don't remember if that means he gets his cover bonus or not. I might be confusing that with how Crisis Protocol does it. Either way, it's skill die yellow and green for a combat rifle at long range, which is green-black. Its normal skill is 6. And that doesn't matter regardless, because that is just an instant pass on a 1 with an armor break. So the Mr. Handy is now down with that armor break to 2 armor against physical damage. He blocked 1 of it. He took 1 damage. Our other shot. That's a 6. -3. So again, either way, it doesn't matter if the cover applies, because that means that it hits. Again with an armor break. This time he blocked none of it. So he took 3 damage in total. He had 2. Does that mean he's dead? He is dead. Now I don't know if normal Mr. Handys have the same rule that most of the other robots have, like Protectrons, Sentry Bots, Assaultrons, etc., where they self-destruct. In the game, Mr. Handys can self-destruct. They do it all the time in Fallout 76. It's very annoying. So I'll double check what the rules for self-destruct are, and then we'll do it. So here's how self-destructing AI works. If Mr. Handys don't normally self-destruct, that's fine. Let's just say whoever sent these robots to kill the sole survivor has made them all self-destruct. So when self-destruct is initiated, which happens when they get reduced to 0 HP, which you can see on the Protectron and the Assaultron cards, robots can only use movement actions for the remainder of the battle. They can't attack. Including a self-destruct trigger, line of sight not required. At the end of the robot's next activation, it explodes. So it's going to get a double move in turn 2 and then explode. Yellow, so that's range 4 yellow, armor break, extra damage, stun, plus a bonus black and 2 yellow dice. That's pretty nasty. Actually, I think that doesn't mean you don't just put the yellow on it. I think it's like on all sides, because that would be 4 inches. So that is pretty nasty, especially because it's got the armor break and such. And I don't think there's any way to stop it other than getting out the way. So that's going to be nasty. We'll see what happens. So it was the other Assaultron to end the turn for the AI, although there's still the sole survivor and 1 more settler left for me. Moved, primed because it had line of sight. Moved, primed, it's going to fire its laser automatically, however it has moved into the threat range on its second move of this turret, so 1 reaction is going to be used up with it shooting. So skill 4, that would be a 10, so it doesn't matter, it's an instant fail. The head laser, who would he fire at? It was recklessly attacking, so I guess it would be closest, so it would actually be the free tech he'd fire at. So close range head laser is 2 yellow and a black. It is skill 8. That's a hit with a quadruple armor break. Wow. Well, that's just no armor then, isn't it? Yep. How much damage does this nasty laser do? It does 3 energy damage, so that would normally kill the enslaved tech, but thankfully the free tech has +1 endurance, so he's on 1 HP. Oh sorry, the free tech still had his +1 super armor because he hadn't been shot at, so that automatically absorbed 1 damage, so he took 2. So even if he wasn't a free tech, he still would have lived on 1 HP, but he has 2 now. So I just had the sole survivor and the other settler left to activate to end off battle round 1, and they have both opted to play defensively by doing double moves. Over here, he's acting as the bodyguard for the sole survivor essentially. So that does take us to the end of battle round 1. We're going to be moving into battle round 2, remembering that the Mr. Handy is going to try and suicide explode. And we already have a melee combat between Dogmeat, one of the turrets, and the Assaultron. So to get battle round 2 started, this Assaultron activated, wants to attack the closest target, which is the free tech. So initiated a charge, which in turn will trigger the turret to use one of its prepared automatically. On a gunshot, let's see if he can do anything. Skill 4. That's an instant fail with a quick action. I don't think turrets have any quick actions, so that's irrelevant. Typical. So the Assaultron has initiated a charge. That's the Assaultron's blade attack. A black is being thrown in for the charge bonus. Skill is 6. 8, 7, 6, 5. It made it. The default damage of the Assaultron swipe is 2. The free tech is just down to his base armor of 1. He actually did block 1, so he only took 1 damage, so he is alive with 1 HP. So the first activation from my side is going to be Dogmeat to try and take advantage of that charge bonus to nom the Assaultron that's wanting to kill the turret. That's Dogmeat's default. I'm going to throw in a black for the charge bonus on his first attack. Remember, using his nerf stats, so it's 6, not 7. Instant fail. Black die gets taken away for his second bite. Come on, Dogmeat. 6. Exactly what he needed, although it became a 5. +1 bonus damage. Does the star do anything? Gives him a quick action, which is not going to be relevant, honestly. Assaultron's physical damage, armor rather, is 2 + 1. It becomes 1 + 1. So he blocked 2 damage, he took 1 damage. Could definitely have been better. Next activation for the AI was the Protectron that has not been attacked yet, so it was wandering aimlessly. It wandered in this direction, which does mean it's in range for it to be shot at by the turret. Its other randomized roll on the old hit die from like 2nd edition 40k there was to make it go back the way. However, because it's been shot at, I believe it would return fire regardless of whether this hits. It needs a 4. It succeeded with 1 armor break, so that means the Assaultron has 3 armor. It blocked 1, so it did take 1 damage, so it is possible to hurt the things. But yeah, presumably then it kicks in, so it would not randomize, it would just take a shot at whatever shot it. So that is Assaultron hand laser. Is that green distance? Apologies, yep, that is green distance. So that is skill die, black and green. And that is requiring E3, because they can't shoot. Never mind, they're very, very good. That was actually a -1 with 1 extra damage. So that is 3 energy damage against the turret's defense of 2. Nope, it did 3 damage. It has 3, oh wait no sorry, this one has none on it already. It's got 2 health left, this turret. My survivor's next activation is going to be Nuka Girl. She's going to stay where she is and fire her Thirst Quencher at the Protectron who just activated since he's damaged. So that's what she's rolling. She needs 7. That's a 9. Becomes an 8, so not good enough on the first shot. And the second shot is an instant fail. Not even a... Actually, what was that last roll? It was a 9. And it became an 8, was it? Oh no, I've already forgotten. If it was an 8, she can try and use luck. Alright, let's say I can use luck. I've forgotten if it was actually apt, but hey, she's got 5 luck. So let's use a luck token. I'm going to try and flip it. Let me just... There. Oh, it landed up, so that means she can modify by -2. So let's say that first shot got through. She has 4 luck left. It probably won't damage anyway, and it didn't have any extra damage thrown in, so it's just the default 2 energy. 2 physical damage. 4. blocked 2, so it did no damage either way, so it's irrelevant. Good job, Nuka Girl, you're the best. The AI activated this Protectron next, and he just wants to attack with reckless abandon, so he's going to shoot Aspirant Goddard with his hand laser twice. He needs 3s, he's not very good at shooting. Although I never should say that before rolling for the AI, because that becomes 3, so he actually hit for +1 extra damage. So that is 3 energy damage coming in against Aspirant Goddard's energy defense of 3 + 1, which is actually entirely blocked. It was actually 3 + 2 because he still had 1 bonus, which disappears. Other shot, needing 3s. That is a success with an extra damage. This time he blocked 1 + 1, so he blocked 2 damage. So 1 damage gets through on Aspirant Goddard. Which is not good, because it's either going to be the suiciding Mr. Handy that goes next for the AI or the other Assaultron, but... Oh, Goddard hasn't gone yet though, so you could technically move. Alright, let's see what happens. So Aspirant Goddard is going to be my next activation, and he is probably going to move to where you can see him, but he's got another action first, and he's going to shoot with his laser pistol, close range. Unfortunately needs a 3. I mean, the Protectrons can do it. He insta-failed. Is he going to move, or is he going to take another shot? Protectrons have 7 HP. The ones that aren't battered, and they both aren't battered, so the one in front of him has 6 HP left. It's energy damage he does. No, he's going to move. Too many things are close together. We need that Mr. Handy to split up, so he's going to move over there for his other action. There's his 1 damage still on him. He did not achieve anything, but that's par for the course with Aspirant Goddard. So the other Assaultron way at the back of the table is activating to try and finish off that turret he started on. Although, a correction from earlier, when this Assaultron finished its turn, charge and then attack, I think it should have fired its primed laser again. Too late to go back now, probably would have killed the free tech, but it's not like the robots need an advantage. So anyway, its first action is to try and smack the turret. It needs a 6. That's a 9, so it actually missed, but that's primed for 1. 6 becomes a 4, so it got through with an armor break. The turret has... Is this energy? No, it's close combat, so it's physical. 3, so it's actually 2. It didn't block any of it, so the full 2 damage gets through. It had 2 on it. It has 1 HP left. So that means it's going to prime and fire its laser at it, which will probably finish it off. I feel like the turret should probably explode as well. So that is what? That is black, yellow, yellow on a 7. Sorry, an 8. But it was a 7 anyway. Broke to the armor, its energy. It only has 2. That turret is very much dead, so it is gone. So it is my survivor's turn now, and next for the robots has to be the Mr. Handy that's going to suicide. So with that in mind, Mr. Free Tech here is going to activate. He's going to try and use his combat shotgun in close combat, which means his skill is -2, so his skill is 1. Let's see how that works out for him against the Assaultron. He actually got a crit, so that is a guaranteed hit for his first shot. 2 physical defense against 2 + 1, which becomes 2 + 1. The Assaultron took no damage. Second shot. 6 becomes a 5. Nothing. Well, you know how it is. Now the thing is, I don't think the Mr. Handy can actually see him because of the this bit here is maybe too raised. Let's see, because it has to be the Mr. Handy, so let's see where he moves. So the Mr. Handy moved forwards twice at the target that was closest, which was Nuka Girl. I double checked, and yellow does not mean like yellow around it, it means yellow diameter. So it's only catching Nuka Girl, but I believe the 4 in the middle means its base damage is 4. And then it also does 1 bonus damage and 1 armor break by default. And then also whatever these roll. So let's roll these. 2 extra damage and 2 armor break. So Nuka Girl has a once per game ability where she can test agility, and if she passes, she ignores damage from a single attack. She's going to try and do that right now. Her agility is 8. That is a 6. She has negated the damage. I am curious though, what would the damage have been? What's her physical armor? She only has 1 physical armor, so it would have been done. So it would have done 6 damage, which would have not quite killed her. She has 8 health. That's pretty nasty. However, I guess that means it also means that it doesn't apply the stun to her then, because she's negating all the damage. Because it does stun by default as well, as far as I can tell. That might be like anything. Like, why is the stun, the armor break, and the damage orange when the AoE for it is yellow? See, I don't understand that. This is why they need more clarity with their symbols. Anyway, she ignored the damage regardless, so we're moving on. The Mr. Handy has removed itself, but all the other robots also suicide with self-destruct, so this is going to be an issue going forwards. So because that was the last robot to activate, there's a lot of units I still have to go with. I still have to go with both Settlers and the Sole Survivor. So this Settler is going to go first and take 2 long-range pot shots at the Protectron here with his combat rifle, which is skill 6. First one got through with bonus damage and an armor break, so that puts the Assaultron down to 3 armor. He blocked 1, so he took 2. Let's see, do I have a... I do. There's 2 damage from that one shot. His other one succeeded again with an armor break, so that puts his armor down to 3. He did not block it, so that has another 2 damage, leaving him on 2 HP. So now the other Settler is going to shoot... Actually, is that close range for her? Nope. So she is also shooting the exact same thing. So that is a yellow and a green. 6. She did it with an armor break. Armor 3. He blocked 1, he took 1. So that puts him at 6. I don't have any other damage icons. Oh wait, I can just flip one of these over because it becomes 5. And he's on 6. So he has 1 health left. Finish him. Although if you do finish him, that means he's going to try and suicide next turn, so I'm not sure about that. What did you need? You needed a 6. It became a 3 with an armor break, so his armor goes down to 3. He blocked all 3. So he didn't take any damage from that. He's sitting on 1 HP. The Sole Survivor could technically move in and shoot him. Is that wise though? It's got blue range on the 10mm pistol. So we just need to be within there. Let's leave that there. Just cover all this and take us to the end of battle round 2, because he can move yellow. Yeah, he can get close as well. Actually, no, I don't think it is, because he's on the smaller base. So the Sole Survivor is just going to stay where he is then. And that's it. That takes us to the end of battle round 2. So to get battle round 3 started, this Assaultron is activating to try and finish off the poor old free tech. Attacking him with skill required 6, that would be a 10, so it missed, but primes 8, 7, 6, that succeeds with an extra 1 damage. I think this might be curtains for him, he only has 1 armor, which he did block, but still 2 gets through. He has been murderized. Now, that would also prime the laser, and it would also trigger a reaction, presumably, from the turret. So, let's do the turret reaction first. And that would be just that, plus yellow, 4s. It succeeded with an armor break, so that is 1 plus 1, just 1. So this Assaultron there took 1 damage. But then it fires its I'm firing my laser at the turret and probably is going to kill it. Because it's what, 2 yellow and a black, needs an 8. Got an 8 with double armor break, well actually it became a 7, plus 1 damage. Its energy, the turret only has 2 energy defense, which it has broken. It did 3 damage. This turret has also exploded. It's gone. So that Protectron close to death has to go before it gets the turn, ideally, so it blows up this turn. So Nuka-Girl's going to activate. She's going to shoot a shot at it with her Thirst Zapper. 7s, got it already, with an armor break, which is perfect. So that puts the Assaultron's armor down to 3 physical. It is physical, yep. It blocked 1, that means it took 1 damage. So it is dead, however it also has the, let me just show you the rule. When damage incurred and health now below 50%, oh sorry, this works differently to the Assaultron one. So when it dropped below 50% you roll to see if it initiates self-destruct. Well, my bad, because the Assaultron one just says at 0 health do not remove but initiate self-destruct. So they guarantee explode. The Assaultron, the Protectrons and probably the Mr. Handys don't. My bad. Let's see if it does. I should have rolled this at 50% and any time it was below 50%, so let's do a double roll. It doesn't explode, so it is just dead. But there is still the other Protectron to deal with. So that was her first action. She has another action. The Assaultron is there and will want to murder her. Let's just move her back a little bit with her other action. And poor Mr. Protectron is dead. Starting to taste that sweet victory for the survivors, which I don't know what it tastes like anymore. It's been so long. This Protectron just wants to attack, so he still has a line of sight target in the form of Aspirant Goddard. He's going to shoot at him twice with his hand laser. He needs a 3. His first shot failed. His second shot failed. Good, that's how it feels, robots. So he is activated. He is done. There's just the one that's engaged with the Assaultron engaged with Dogmeat to go, and the 2 Settlers and the Sole Survivor for me. Now remember, the goal is to make sure the Sole Survivor lives past the end of, well, gets to the end of turn 6 being alive. If he dies before that, it's instant game over. But if the enemy is wiped out as well, that would be an early end too. So Dogmeat is going to be my next activation, and he's going to try and do some work on those Assaultrons. Assaultrons have 10 HP when they're not battered Assaultrons, incidentally. They are not easy to take down, which is probably why they guarantee self-destruct afterwards. So, anyway, 6. That would be a 9, becomes an 8. His first bite is a whiff. His second bite is an instant fail. That's the way we're doing it, huh? I see. You know, we might as well keep going then, because the only other activation is the Assaultron. It only has attacks, so it's going to attack Dogmeat with 2 Assaultron swipes, followed by the Death Beam of Death. So for this, it's also 6s. The Assaultron got a 7, so that's a miss. The second one, however, got through with an armor break. And this is with the swipe, so it's 2 physical. Dogmeat's physical armor becomes 1, but it's currently 1+1, which he got, so he blocked 2 damage, and he actually took nothing from it. However, that's his super armor gone. Oh wait, no, sorry, his super armor is 2, because he's a named character, so he has +1 super armor left. Either way, though, I am curious if I'm doing these death rays right, but it does say, like, as long as you do an action... Oh wait, if you do an action that isn't shooting. Oh, hitting in melee isn't shooting, though. So it must count. It specifically says, is any other action other than shooting that has an enemy in line of sight primes the weapon, so presumably. 8s. That would be a 6 with 2 armor breaks, so it gets through his base armor, so he's just got the +1, and it does 2 extra damage, call that 1 extra damage. Dogmeat took 3 health in total, and that's his super armor gone. So although we've got a lot of rolling to do, we're basically ready to end the turn after those, because all the robots have gone. This Settler has just moved twice to get into a better position. However, Goddard has moved once to see this Assaultron. The Sole Survivor has moved once to see this Assaultron. And this Settler is standing still. So 1 shot, 2 shots, all into this Assaultron to see what kind of damage can actually be done. So with that, let's start with, I don't know, I didn't have the dice ready for anyone in particular. Let's have Goddard with his bad shooting skill. He needs a 3. He got an 8. Oh wait, 8, 7, 6, 5. Still not good enough. He can't use luck. Goddard, you suck. Let's do the single shot from the Sole Survivor. Let's see if the Sole Survivor can redeem themselves somewhat. The Sole Survivor requires a 7. That is a 9. It becomes an 8. Excellent start. Just absolutely top notch. So 2 shots. Is this green range? Nope. So it is yellow and green combat rifle. So these are 6s. So the first one succeeded. Base damage, 2 physical, 2+1, 1+1. It blocked all the damage. Second shot. It got through for 2 extra damage. That's 4 physical damage coming through this time. And that is, it blocks 2. So the Assaultron took 2 damage. All that shooting, and it took 2 more damage. It's got 7 HP left. And there's 2 of them. But that does take us to the end of Battle Round 3, so in we go to Battle Round 4. Innocent Old Protectron down here is the first activate for the AI. It's going to take 2 shots at Aspirant Goddard. Close range, needing 3s. The first shot is a whiff, 765. Second shot is a fail with a quick action. It would have done 3 extra bonus damage. That's really lucky that it whiffed. So the Protectron has achieved absolutely nothing. So first activate for my survivors this turn was Aspirant Goddard, and he's having his Leroy Jenkins moment here. He has charged into this Assaultron and he is attacking. So his base with the board he is equipped with is just a black die. However, the power armor puts him at strength 8, so he gets a bonus black one, and because he charged, he's throwing in a green to try for accuracy. He has a slightly higher chance than when he's shooting. He doesn't need 3s, he needs 5s. He passed, although rolled poorly on the extra damage. So he got through. It's just a base 2 physical damage, which was blocked because it's 1+1 for the Assaultron. But he is now locked in combat, and that means the Assaultron kind of has to stay there. Whether or not that's a good thing, I guess we'll see. So the next activation is the Assaultron at the end of the table where I can't really reach. So it's going to smack Dogmeat once, needing 6s, which is an instant fail first of all, second attack. Instant fail, but then, again, presumably this is done correctly, it does its Amma Charge on my laser, which I just realised last turn I was still working on 8, but because it's in close combat it would be 6s. Which she got regardless, with an armor break and 1 extra damage. So Dogmeat's armor is currently a 1, which he did not block, so he just took 3 damage, and with his nerfed stats he is 6 health, so Dogmeat sadly has gone down. So this settler here who already has his activated token, he's taking 2 shots at the Assaultron. Yes, that does mean that you might hit Goddard, but hey, whatever. 6s, it succeeded, so first of all we have to work out who's being hit, so let me just grab a d6. 1 to 3, the Assaultron. It's hitting the Assaultron, so 1 armor break puts it at 1+1. So no, it's just got +1, so that would be 1 damage. So let's just take that 1 away and replace it with a 2. He's got so much health left. And then take another shot. 6s, succeeded. That's a -1 anyway, so that makes it a 5. 1 to 3, it's the Assaultron. He's hitting Goddard. So Goddard's armor is currently with the -2+1. He blocked all the damage, thankfully. So it was worth doing. Now that Assaultron gets to do its thing. So we know what the Assaultron's doing. It just wants to smash Goddard in the face. It only has 1 line of AI and it's attack, 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 attack recklessly. There is no objective or anything. It just wants to kill. 6s. First hit's a whiff, but it primes for 1. Second hit is a 4 with double armor break. That's kind of nasty. So that puts his armor at 1+1, which he got, so he actually took no damage. That's good. But now, however, the priming has occurred. So again, presumably the being in close combat debuff applies, and I was doing that wrong at the start, so it needed a 6. That is a 9, so the primed laser actually missed. So that is good, but the problem is with Goddard blocking there, all the rest if they shot would risk hitting him. Let's see. So for battle round 3, is it only battle round 3 or is it battle round 4? Either way, whichever battle round it is, it's just my survivors and settlers and such to go. The soul survivor is just hiding over there because if combat stays where it is, the robots are never going to get to him. So Nuka Girl and this settler have moved to take pot shots, 1 shot each at the Assaultron up there. So this is Nuka Girl's shot first of all, needing 7s. That is a 9, 8, 7. She's going to use luck, one of her luck tokens, which did not work, to try and influence the results. That didn't work. And let's see, that would be a long range, so that's a green and a yellow. Oh, no black dice. And 6. That's a 9. What's up with rolling so many 9s? So the settler missed as well, and that takes us to either battle round 4 or battle round 5. I guess it's 4. I think it's 4. Either way. So the first activation for this battle round was this Assaultron, who is charged as its first action to initiate against Nuka Girl, which is that with his Assaultron swipe, plus a black die for charging in. 6s. That is a 6. Comes a 4 anyway. 2 extra damage and 1 armor break. Now she's got 1 super armor left, and this is a close combat, so it's physical. And her physical is normally 1, so she just has the +1. So she has taken 3 damage. That is pretty nasty. There is 3 damage right there on her person. Oh, and her super armor is now gone. That also means his gun is primed, so he will now shoot his gun, his head laser I mean, at Nuka Girl's face. So this is going to be skill -1 because it's 2 rather, so it's 6s again. Thankfully that becomes a 7, so the death laser priming missed. So my first activation is going to be Goddard attacking the Assaultron there, and I forgot the assault. I did mention the power armor rather, not the Assaultron. The power armor is buffing his attack up to 7, his strength, which also would mean that you're testing against a strength value of 8, not 5, presumably. So his last hits should have had a better chance to land than they did. I apologise. So this is needing an 8. He gets a 9, which becomes an 8 with 1 extra damage. That's 3 physical damage against the Assaultron's armor of just +1. Ignores that. Takes 2 damage. 2 more damage puts it at 6 damage in total, and it has 10 HP. It's got 4 left. Oh, the extra black die, remember, is the strength bonus dice. That misses, unfortunately. Oh wait, no, because 8. So it does hit with +1 extra damage. Got to remember these things. It blocked 2 damage. So it took 1. That's fine. So it's got 7 damage on it. It's got 3 HP left. That's very doable. Let's see what happens. This Protectron down here, again, just wants to attack. He's going to shoot at Goddard and might hit the Assaultron, but it doesn't care, it's a robot. So he needs 3s. Instant fail with a quick action. Second roll was a success with +1 bonus damage. 1 to 3 is Goddard. He is hitting Goddard. So that is energy defense. Yep, that is 3 energy damage coming in against Goddard, who has just +1. So he took 2 damage from that hit coming in against him. I'm going to have to use single tokens there for that. So he's got 3 on him in total. The power armor breaks when it takes 1 more damage, which is bad news. This settler here is once again taking shots at the Assaultron, knowing that he could hit poor Goddard, but has to be done. 6s, first one's a success with +1 bonus damage. 1 to 3 is the Assaultron. He hit Goddard with 3 physical damage, 3 + 1. He blocked it all. Second shot. That is a 6, which is enough, with 1 armor break. 1 to 3 is the Assaultron. He hit Goddard again. Of course he did. It's 2 + 1 this time because of the armor break, which he passed. So Goddard took no damage, thankfully, but clearly that settler needs to get his eyes checked. So it's this Assaultron's turn to retaliate against Goddard, needing 6s. It's kind of cocked, but it was either a 7 or 8, so either way it missed. 6s rather, it's an instant success with double armor break. So that puts Goddard at 1 + 1 for physical. He only has the +1, so he took 1 damage, and that is enough to break his power armor. So what happens when power armor breaks is you slide the card out from under him, you flip it, and then it goes back under. It loses the endurance buff, but keeps the strength buff, and it also loses the super armor as well. So he's still at 8 strength, no extra endurance, he's got 4 HP till he dies, and yeah, the armor is still 334, not his stats, but it loses the super armor part as well. So let's get in there. So that's it for them. Now over to the rest of my settlers. So we have a few things to cover, but the Soul Survivor has retreated right down here to the dice corner, because essentially the Assaultrons, because Goddard didn't die this turn, it's impossible for them to reach him. The Protectron is just going to shoot, or if Goddard dies, he's going to move slow. He moves yellow, which isn't bad, but not enough. So as long as the Soul Survivor hides there, it's impossible for the AI to win. So I don't think there's any point playing the other turns of the match, because again, he's being a coward, but for this particular scenario, it means he wins. What we are going to do for fun though is Nuka Girl and this settler are going to take swipes at this Assaultron. The settler has done a charge, and also because the Assaultron is outnumbered, that's a bonus green die, chosen a green die for the charge bonus. She's got a baseball bat, and she needs a 3 unfortunately, but hey, the greens might help. That would be a 9, it becomes an 8, never mind. Now Nuka Girl is going to have to fire her blaster at close range, because she doesn't have a melee weapon. So that puts her skill down to 5, which is not enough, but she gets 2 hits because she was already in combat. She failed. See, oh dear. I don't like the way melee combat works in this game. I'll just say that straight up. But also, Assaultrons are ridiculously tough if they're not battered, because battered ones have much lower stats. They're cheaper, so you can bring more, but they're much lower and easier to take out. Assaultrons are tough. I don't know if I was doing their Assaultron head lasers correctly. If I wasn't, then that probably skewed the results a little bit. But as I say, even if this Assaultron kills Goddard next turn, it can't get line of sight to the Soul Survivor, so it would just do a move and a move. He's still got his 2 super armor. This Assaultron's got too many targets because they don't go after the objective specifically, they just attack. And this Protectron is too slow. So I believe that's what they call a Pyrrhic victory, because it's like basically winning by technicality, kinda. No, it's not technicality. This scenario is if the Soul Survivor dies, you lose. The Soul Survivor did not die. It's just everybody else is going to. Because Assaultrons, pardon me, when they are full health, look at this stat card. They're ridiculous. Yeah. 4 energy defense as well. The super armor on physical. Yeah, they are very nasty. Again, I don't know if I was doing their head laser entirely correct, but we can call this a technical win. However, they have still been overrun by the robots, so my poor... I'm doing the Batman camera angle by accident. My poor survivors are still having to flee yet another location they hoped would be safe. They can't catch a break. I'm not sure who could possibly help them at this point, but I guess we'll see going forward. So we are going to call this one there. Thank you very much for watching. AI scenario number 2, cut off the head. We'll be back next time. I don't remember offhand what the next AI scenario is, but we'll see what kind of narrative we can fit around it for my big band of losers. Until then, thank you for watching, and ta-ta for now.